August 21st, 2025. It's been about a week since major news broke out that our chief, Roy Whitney, was charged in Edmonton for 2 historical sexual assaults. And so there's been quite a lot of people triggered. There's been quite a lot of debriefing and sort of self-exploration, and I just think it's been just really tragic in the sense that when we're having Treaty 7 right now, conference, and prior to that, one of my friends said when they're going to have the treaties, people are just going to be talking about this, and rightfully so. And some people are making comments like there's a lot of young people that are calling him Chief Diddy now, which I think in the face of stress or things that you don't want to deal with, you create humor. So I think that's part of a coping mechanism that we're dealing with right now. And just the reality of it too, because people just want to find out your opinion. And see, for me, there's noise. Anyway, for me, it's amazing what people are talking to me about, because I don't get involved, but yet they want to get me involved. And so I came up with a strategy that if anybody wanted to know any information, I'm just saying, look, if you want to know the juicy gossip, go to the preliminary hearing, sit there. If you have the capacity to sit there and bear witness and listen to all the evidence, I said, that's what I'd recommend. Because I don't want to participate in any, did you hear this? Did you hear that? No, because it just adds to like conspiracies and anger. I think in our community there's enough anger about any topic that once you start the catalyst going, it gets bigger and bigger, and especially when you have so many young people who are angry. Now and again, everybody has a right to express themselves. I just think that sometimes when people are triggered, they act out very violently. In the past 2 podcasts that I've submitted, I've talked about that in my own personal family, of how community reacted to things that were happening, not just to my family, but other family members within the community. And the reality of it is like restorative and transformative justice. What does it look like? Well, one lady had the audacity to say to me, your brother should not be living here. And I said, he served his time. And she was so upset because of what the chief had done. And I said to her, whatever happens, he's living in our community, just like my brother. And my brother has the right to live here. And I said to her, because of what happened that my brother and Nathan Chasing Horse was involved in, my niece died. Like, I don't know what capacity she had to feel that it was her responsibility to mansplain me about restorative and transformative justice. I don't even think she had the capacity to understand what she was saying. The reality of it is like any crime that happens affects all family members. And where's the compassion for people within the community? It affects, obviously, it's affecting his family, the chief's family, and it'll continue. So how do we as community bear witness and stand there and live there and support each other? Like I said, healing a child is the same thing as healing an adult. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to heal a child. So when someone commits a crime and they come back to the community holds them responsible, and the community sees that they're held accountable so they don't reoffend. I mean, there's just so many Indigenous people in the jails now because of colonial justice system. It's up to us as Indigenous people to help understand what restorative and transformative justice is. And if you've ever been a victim and you've gone through the healing process and you've had to network and show patience, you will get the gist of it. So that's why for me, if somebody's going to say anything, I just say, go to the preliminary hearing. If you have the capacity to do this, because a lot of people who do not have the capacity get triggered, and they get there's anger. And I've seen that, you have young people who get angry at anything, not just what happened recently, but just anything. They go and get intoxicated or high, and then they go and they see the person and just basically punch them in the face, just out of anger. Just, you're caught off guard. And you hear things like that and you think, oh, it won't happen to me. But in reality, when you have to live in the community your whole life, and the perpetrators are going to come back, and you as a victim have to live with the perpetrator and how to navigate within the community. The reality of it is the community takes care, and the perpetrator knows that they're accountable. Every day for the rest of their lives, they're held accountable, which is different than living off reserve or living in a city, or people scared of Indigenous people who've just come out of prison. Really, there's nothing here for our Indigenous people when they come out of prison. And that's what's so sad. I've never been in jail, or I've seen all this. And for me, the lack of support, that people would sooner just poo-poo it away. But the reality of it is, like, it's affecting all of us. It affects our young people. It affects our relationships with people within families. So I think it's just a matter of trying to navigate through everything and finding support, finding safe, supportive people that you can have a good conversation with, knowing that what you say isn't going to be taken out of context, that they're not going to exploit you. And again, that has to do with trust. So again, is it easier to trust people within your community? But if you don't practice these things yourself, and you don't exercise that trust or even understand it, like in my podcast, I talk about a psychologist. He wasn't my therapist. I knew him for 30 years. And, the distrust, I trusted him for 30 years. And about 2 years ago, I just realized, oh my goodness, I can't trust him. So I'm using the word trust as a very general statement, and that it's always evolving, just like as we heal, we evolve. But this being said, I wanted to put this out on TikTok. I know people are curious about things that happened with the arrest of our chief, and he's not much like we're about the same age, and I grew up with him, and I have compassion. I've gone in my own circles the same with him, but we grew up here. And so when people talk, like, especially our age, and we talk and we say things, it's not without the context of history and people we've known our whole lives. And the fact too that he comes from here. He's whatever happens, guilty or not guilty, he's from here. And however we hope to be there for people, like be mindful. Be mindful of what you say to other people, because it hurts. It really triggered me that somebody told me about my brother. He served his time, but the reality of it is, like, did she not even think what he did and what Nathan did to her? Her whole life she couldn't recover, and she ended up overdosing with drugs. So, be kind to people. Think about what you say to them, especially when you're triggered. That really triggered me, and I realized I live in my community. My brother does. We live with the consequences. So that's what I'm saying. Be kind to each other. We have no control over what people do and how they harm other people. And some of the things that people do are unforgivable. And they end up hurting people. And even some of these people end up killing themselves.